There are few basketball players right now that I am enjoying more than Leila Lacan on the Connecticut Sun. She just had the best game of her career tonight against Liberty, 20 something points, some assists, some steals. We're gonna break down the tape and talk a little bit more with some clips sprinkled in because Lacan is incredible. She was drafted in 2024, but this is her rookie year because she just came overseas this year, and she has been dominating lately. So if you're enjoying the WNBA content, like, subscribe, comment would be so appreciated. And the first thing that pops out with Lacan is her incredible first step burst. She's isolated against Leo Phoebus, who's probably one of the better perimeter defenders in the WNBA, easily blows by her with 2 dribbles and draws a foul. You can see just how much power she generates with these first couple steps. She accelerates, she gets beneath Phoebus' hips and shoulders, and then she goes and draws the foul. Lacan was using a lot of this for her playmaking, though, and the really deadly thing about Lacan is that she blends incredible burst, passing, and touch, and these are all star traits. She blows by Sabrina Ionescu right here, slows down, beautiful bounce pass right there, but I believe that's Edwards, just wasn't really ready for it, and the placement wasn't perfect. But the vision and the read against help and the placement and the timing, even though it's a turnover, all of that is high level. Like, Lacan is a great passer. She had a 14 assist to 0 turnover game this season. Like, that's absolutely crazy. Here's one where it goes better, and maybe she should have just shot the ball here, honestly, but Sabrina was swiping at it, so maybe that was a bit of a deterrent. But again, we see the quick burst where this is just a great job rejecting the screen into the space. And if you give Lacan empty spacing, which the Suns do quite a bit, man, she will torch you off the dribble. And great vision right here. This is a tough pass with Sabrina right here. Marine's got her hands in, and she got to lead the cutter to the spot. And that's Anissa Morrow, I think, who cut there and finished. But yeah, Lacan has been doing her thing in pick and roll pretty much all year so far, where they run Spain pick and roll here to confuse the defense, and she gets the beautiful finish on the drive right there. It's really difficult to defend her with this kind of speed, and if you play up on her, again, we see in early offense kind of forcing her to the left. I don't think giving a player with her kind of speed and incredible touch, she's shooting, I think, like above 70% within 0 to 3 feet. It's absolutely crazy. And yeah, the downhill advantage creation, the touch, those are absolutely star traits. But Lacan's playmaking, I think, is there too. And we're not there yet, but her touch with both hands, using the left hand, almost a little sky hook right there to get the ball over the defender and finish strong right there. And Lacan's speed really helps in early offense. She'll grab a rebound, sprint down the floor with the ball. She's already one of the fastest players in the league. I don't think I've mentioned that yet, that Lacan is only, I think, like 20 or 21 years old, because the international players tend to be younger, but her defense is incredible. We'll get to that. Lacan gets the steal right here. She pushes in transition, and she's going to end up scrambling the defense right here and creating a shot for her teammate, fellow rookie Sania Rivers, who I absolutely love as well. I'm quite high on her. But Lacan, I really do think, is the crown jewel of this team. And back to the pick and roll game. Oh my goodness. What a ridiculous find from Lacan right here. Threading this needle in between Stewart and JJ right to Tina Charles for the finish. Like, that is an absolute dime, high-level play against pressure, against elite defenders, against the Liberty. They almost won this game. She is phenomenal in the pick and roll, and she's able to use her transition game to unlock that pick and roll and create shots as well. Because she's so fast and such a threat, it's even more dangerous when she can bring a second defender into the fold, and most bigs cannot contain Lacan in high drop at all. So she breaks into the paint touch creates rotations. Marina Mabrey cuts for the easy layup. So she is a really impressive floor general already, and her ability to live read the game is so impressive on the move, where she gets to the middle right here. She originally was going to pull up, and again, really tight window. This does not look like there's a pass here, but Lacan sees something that I couldn't clearly, right in between, under Emma's arms. It gets to Morrow, but it's right off her hands, and that's going to be a turnover for Lacan. But on film, of course, we can see it's a beautiful pass. And The Sun use her off the ball a lot because they have some other on-ball players, and it's just a very weird roster. So she'll get a lot of these empty plays. She'll come off of a screen, and again, we see really inventive passers like her. They're just gonna get some turnovers, and I talked about this plenty on the channel, how stuff like this doesn't scare me, especially for young players. Another really tight window pass where she wants Mora to roll hard into this little bucket of space and zip the ball in, and she gets kind of close again. I think you can argue if the big rolled a little harder, that could have been a catch, but again, it's a high risk pass, no doubt, that always had a chance of not working out. Or like, she'll try to split through tight spaces sometimes, and maybe it would just be a better decision to kick out to the perimeter right here for a wide open shot. But I like that her turnovers are because of her ambition, because she's pushing her limits of what she can do. And Lacan has had this for a while. One of my greatest ever takes in the draft, I think, in anything, is I had Lacan third in that draft, only behind Caitlin Clark and Cam Brink, and man, I'm feeling good about that. But she had this like innate pick and roll pacing as a teenager playing in the French Pro League, and yeah, she's very quickly translated that to the WNBA. And the thing about Lacan is her main weakness right now is her three-point shooting. I wrote about this in an article recently. I'm going to link it down below. She is not making her shots at all. 19% when I wrote that article a couple days ago, and when we're going to look at Leila Lacan right now, it's still around 19%. But her indicators otherwise are pretty good. Oh, I did not know what I just did right there. 84% from the line, incredibly good mid-range shot maker, as we'll get to. Down here we can see 50% from that short mid-range area, long mid-range she's smoking, white hot, like incredible shot maker. Just the threes are really not falling for her. But I'm not worried. She shot 38% last year in France, 30% the year before. I think she's probably around 33, 34. But the big thing with Lacan is that she's confident and she looks like a shooter. If she gets the ball in the catch, where Sabrina, this is a 19% shooter. Usually you can dig off of them, right? Help in the paint and not get burned. Lacan is catching, shooting confidently. Her arc is so high on that shot, which just makes it kind of cool and fun to watch. But again, you can't play lazy on her because she is going to shoot. She has the confidence to pull off the catch, and she's got a little movement jumpers. And this kind of mid-range shot-making proficiency is such a good indicator for future shooting development, alongside her obvious touch, right? Where, this is the kind of intermediate version of the movement three in the corner that so many teams run, right? And this is good for her. Obviously, she can do that, but I think that kind of predicts an ability to develop that movement three-point shooting, which will, of course, just make her a demon offensive player that I really have no idea how teams are going to stop. And even on a play like this, where Lacan doesn't make it, it doesn't really matter what the percentage is on Basketball Reference if defenses don't guard you like a shooter. And Lacan hasn't cracked 20% from three, yet Emma Meesman is still closing out hard to her because she respects her shooting threat in this game, which, theoretically could open up driving lanes. And, that's what matters, right? That's what makes you a shooter, and that's what makes shooting threat dangerous in a team building context, right? And I think that's huge for Lacan, opening up her gravity, opening up stuff for other players. And she's an awesome pull-up mid-range shooter. She has this high rainbow arcing touch, and she's really good at finding the soft spot in the defense. This is right when Sabrina is trying to veer peel switch to Charles, and Jonquel's going to take Lacan, and she pulls up in the soft spot. Can't hit the shot, but it gets her own rebound and puts it in softly. But I think her instinct and just feel for space as a scorer is really, really high level as well. And yeah, she clearly has the touch to make some absolutely ridiculous shots. And even though defenses will go under her at the moment, she has the pick and roll acumen to really remedy that, where you see Kate Martin ducking under initially because she's not a real pull-up three threat at this moment. Lacan doesn't panic, just uses the rescreen and gets Martin on her back, gets to her sweet spot at the right elbow, and she's going to hit an easy little pull-up. But Lacan is more than her offense, and her defense is arguably more impressive. When we look at steals per 100, she is first among players who have played real minutes. These first three have played 11, 12, 36, 498 minutes, 4.7% steal rate. Second place with real minutes is Gabby Williams with 3.7. Let's get this ad out of here. But otherwise, that is a huge gap. And she is an incredible impact player where, shout out to Substack right here. But in terms of Raptor, which is like an all-in-one metric, she ranks only behind Fee, Asia, and AT when it comes to players who actually have minutes. Shout out Veronica Burton, who I might have to do a video on as well. And so much of it is driven by her defense, where she is once again in the top 5 for defensive Raptor when you factor in minutes. And when you look at her on-off numbers, which are ridiculous, a 21-point swing, not counting garbage time. It's mostly on defense, right, where she makes it so much better. And some of this is noise, like it's not Lacan's doing, right, that the 3-point percentage drops by 3% with her on the floor. But I do think her defensive impact is super legit. She made a clutch steal in this game, and I wanted this for her. She's gonna get stripped right here, but it would have been so amazing for her to finish this game with the win. But Lacan, she didn't do like as much on defense in that game in terms of steals and turnover creation, but I did want to showcase that. Like her hands are crazy. She just rips Chelsea Gray right here, but you can see the lateral quickness as Gray's trying to just use her strength, discard Lacan, but she's relentless. She's got great feet, quick hands, gets to that spot before Gray does. She's going to get around the screen right here and picks fellow rookie Sonia Citrone's pocket, who, again, she's just getting around the screen right here, contesting. Because of her agility and her flexibility and her balance, the stuff that really helps on offense, and the speed, of course, is big. She definitely can get stuck on screens when, especially like when she doesn't have the strength to power through a screen, really, at this stage, which makes sense. She's still a very young player, even though she's very willing to be physical, which we'll get into. But overall, I think she has the potential to be like one of the better primary point of attack defenders in the league. And she'll switch off occasionally. The Sun love to switch a lot on defense, and Lacan is an excellent post defender for a guard. And you see the physicality. It starts before the catch right here. Obviously, Rikia would like to catch the ball right outside of the restricted area, but Lacan ends up making her catch the ball outside of the paint entirely, and then she's going to rip her from behind and force a turnover. She's going to do a very similar thing on this play against, I believe that's Shakira Austin, but I'm not 100%. My W knowledge is not as high level as it needs to be, unfortunately. She'll legit make some low rotations where Lacan is like the last line of defense as a weak side rim protector, puts her hands up at least, and you can argue that this isn't the most impactful contest, but at least she makes the offensive player's life a little bit harder and arguably forces a miss. But yeah, I think this is only the beginning for Lacan, and you should buy stock while you still can, while it's still affordable. She is truly an ascending star, and I have a really hard time putting a ceiling on her. Like, she's not crazy efficient right now because she's shooting 19% from 3, but I really do think that percentage is going to rise. And of course, there's going to be limitations with her height at the rim. I don't know if she's going to shoot 74% at the rim for her entire career, but her touch, her craft, her burst, the fact that she can create advantages off the ball, while I also think she's a pretty smart off-ball player, and we showed some of the catch-and-shoot flashes in the Liberty game. But yeah, she's flashing the potential to be one of these like central offensive players, not just offensive, one of these central two-way pieces on elite teams. It's not only someone who can initiate offense and create, but hopefully fit next to better players if the shooting stabilizes, and because of her defense. So I am crazy high on Lacan, and she's also just an absolute blast. And I love this like young, fun Connecticut Sun team with her and Rivers, Morrow, Edwards, who they traded for. But yeah, I really just wanted to talk about Lacan, and go read my article at Sportscasting. That would really be awesome as well. But if you made it this far, comment Leila Lacan MVP 2026. That's what we're going for, and have a great night.